Welcome back to Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. I'm Zach, and with me is the parasitic alien needle in my brain, George. George. Forgot half my joke.
You know, I did not know until this watching that Grant's last name was Grant.
Yeah, and I have been unable to find anything about that, because supposedly, I don't know, maybe he was being hyperbolic, but James Gunn said something to the effect of every character and place in this movie is named for, it's like some other horror icon of some sort. But I don't know what Grant is supposed to be. I don't know what Starla's supposed to be. Is Starla supposed to be like, I was thinking maybe like Agent Starling from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh,
But I don't know. Those were the first two. I was like, oh, I wonder what those are a reference to, and I couldn't find anything. So if anybody knows, email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Or join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. I wanted to say those things up top because nobody listens to the end. This is Series 2, Episode 2. This is our MCU Adjacent series, so there will be at least one tie-in to that franchise. And today we are talking about Slither from March 2006. We don't have a ranking system for Series 2, but after we discuss the movie, we will give our ratings for the movie and whether or not it's absolutely one of the best movies. As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers. And I'm going to go ahead and spoil a little bit my recommendation and say you should watch this one.
If you like horror movies.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good point. If you don't like horror, this one's not for you. Do you want to go first with movie memories, or do you want me to?
I mean, I can go this time.
Okay.
I don't really remember too much. I feel like my memories, I think because I don't have a ticket like you always do to anchor my memory, I don't seem to have, I have flashes of memories around this, which is like when I first saw the trailer, I was super excited, mostly because I was having flashbacks of Night of the Creeps, which I think everybody like alluded to as soon as I just did a little bit of digging, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, it's totally inspired by Night of the Creeps."
I thought it was a remake of Night of the Creeps, to be honest.
Oh really?
Yeah, or a reimagining, you know.
So I was excited about that, but yeah, after watching it, I was kind of I liked it a lot. It was fun and it was funny, and I was a huge. I don't know if was Nathan Fillion really huge around.
No, I think he was just starting to kind of pick up steam. I think it was after Firefly. I think
okay. This was 2006. I think I saw. So he was just popping off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was a big fan of his like right after this because he was just really funny. Fun fact: I actually hate slugs and snails.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Like anything that secretes a gross slime trail.
I mean,
I like it. It triggers the shit out of me. So this movie, like leeches. Don't even get me started on leeches.
Yeah, the leeches are a different story. Those are just gross no matter what. But are your kids like mine and they love slugs and snails and think they're cute?
No, well, I mean, I don't think they haven't been too exposed to. Well, my oldest loves. You edit that out.
Yeah.
But my oldest loves all life, and she cries. She cries even when you mention a tree getting chopped down to turn it into paper. So she's probably fine with like slugs and snails. But as a kid, I grew up in Hawaii, and there was just slugs and snails like everywhere, and I had to do the yard work all the time, and just having to touch them or even risking touching them when I was gathering leaves grossed me out.
Yeah, they like to hide under there.
Yep. So I love this movie, and I also hated it because I was just staring at all these so like.
It's truly a horror movie things for you, then.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, it really triggers me, and I still watch it because I just love that feeling.
Yeah. You mentioned that I always keep movie ticket stubs to help trigger my memory. I have no recollection of seeing this in the theater, but apparently I did on opening night, which is not my thing at all. Yeah, according to my ticket stub, but I have no memory at all of seeing it in the theater. I do remember watching it later on DVD at home, and I remember hearing about it originally and being psyched for the movie because I knew James Gunn had written the Dawn of the Dead remake, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
For this time around, I rewatched it 3 times. I did the regular Blu-ray, and then there's an old commentary from 2007 with James Gunn and Nathan Fillion, and then apparently they did a newer commentary in 2017, which was James Gunn, Nathan Fillion, and adding in Michael Rooker as well. So they were both interesting, both totally different, and almost totally different anyway. And well worth my time, in my opinion. And out of that, I got a lot of trivia and Easter eggs from those commentaries. And normally I would, sprinkle them in at the appropriate point. But I'm going to save them all to the end, most of them anyway, and have a little quiz for you and see which ones you picked up on. Unless you also listened to the commentary, in which case you should do very well.
I did not.
Okay.
I did not, but you could tell that there's a lot. There's a lot.
I think you'll know. I think you'll know some of them. Some of them I'm just like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have said this before when you were talking about it reminding you of Night of the Creeps. In the was it in the deleted scenes? I think it was in the commentary somewhere in the extras on the Blu-ray. James Gunn says that people always say Slither was inspired by Night of the Creeps, but he doesn't come flat. He doesn't come right out and say it's not, but he says that instead he says it's inspired by Shivers, which is also called The Parasite Murders and sometimes called They Came From Within, which I think are arguably better names for that movie. But it's a very early Cronenberg movie. So I, like you, rewatched Night of the Creeps, but then I also watched Shivers. And for sure, the slugs or worms, whatever, in Slither, they do look like they were inspired by Shivers. They're a little bit more ribbed, let's say. But they aren't unlike the slugs in Night of the Creeps.
Right.
In Shivers, it's a man-made parasite. In Night of the Creeps, it's an alien parasite, just like in Slither. I also feel like Slither's the plot line. I also feel like in Slither, the plot line seems a lot more like Night of the Creeps to me.
Yep.
Also in Night of the Creeps, they similarly name characters for famous horror icons. So you have Cindy Cronenberg, James Carpenter. His name is James Carpenter Hooper, Chris Romero, Detective Landis, Sergeant Raimi. All names you should recognize. And then I was thinking about other movies that have kind of a similar thing, like an alien infection. Infection's not the right word. I could not come up with the right word, but like
invasion.
Yeah, I mean, like, where the alien goes inside of you and takes over, right? Yeah. But have you ever seen The Hidden? It's like maybe 84 or something like that. That one's Kyle MacLachlan and a bunch of and that one's really cool. I don't know if it holds up. It was really cool. And then more recently than that, I think it was before Slither, but I'm not sure. The Faculty.
I love The Faculty.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie. Yeah.
Jordana Brewster.
Oh yeah.
Another crush on mine.
Oh, and Josh Hartnett. That was like, I think that was his. I don't know if it was his first movie, but yeah. He's a good looking dude. But I just watched Trap with him. Was
that good?
I mean, it depends on what your expectations are. It is a M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Also, keep it low.
And so he can just get that weird delivery out of anyone. And like dialogue is always like nothing that a normal human would say. So it's kind of funny to me. Like I really enjoyed Old because I was expecting it to be awesomely bad, and it was. This looked like it had some potential to be more interesting. And in some way, I mean, it was a unique idea, but it didn't. It was just a very, very much M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Okay, it's automatically my expectations are pretty low when it's one of his movies.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to go into it. One more thing with the movies that have an alien take over people. James Gunn himself kind of did it again in the Suicide Squad with the mini Starros.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. So. I don't know why he just won't own that this is like Night of the Creeps. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a better movie than Night of the Creeps. So I don't think there's any shame in that. Also, I think that Night of the Creeps is better than Shivers. So I think you can skip Shivers.
All right. I will.
So, as we've already mentioned multiple times, this movie is written and directed by James Gunn. This is one of our MCU tie-ins, James Gunn being one of our MCU tie-ins, and definitely the biggest one. Obviously, he wrote and directed the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And this is the first movie that he directed.
Really?
Which I did not, yeah, I think he nailed it. I didn't realize that at all. I thought he had done, because he did work with Troma.
Mm-hmm.
I had assumed that he had done some sort of directing before for one of those, but apparently not. The main cast includes Nathan Fillion as Police Chief Bill Party. He's the main protagonist. This is another MCU tie-in, actually. Nathan Fillion plays the voice of the monstrous inmate in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. He is Karja in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And I did not know this until I read this. He's also the voice of Headpool in Deadpool and Wolverine. Did you know that one?
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah. It was like something I randomly read.
Okay.
In an article that was talking about all the different pools.
I was about to say pretty much every different pool in that has got to be some level of celebrity, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like you, I love Nathan Fillion. I first saw him in Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place.
Yeah.
He was the boyfriend of the girl in that. I sort of had a band named after him for a while.
Really?
Yeah, it was like just a 2-man. It was like for like a year. It was like the last year of grad school. Last year I was living with this buddy of mine, and we called the band Imitation Jason Bateman because we thought that he looked like Jason Bateman.
Oh, wow. Oh,
really
I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
Not really named for Nathan Fillion. I really don't think he looks that much like Jason Bateman anymore, but
yeah,
it was just kind of a funny joke between the two of us, and that's what we called the band. We also have Elizabeth Banks as Starla Grant. I like her quite a bit as well. And people probably know her best from the Hunger Games movies. She plays Effie Trinket.
Yeah.
She's also the voice of Wildcat and the Lego movies.
I was going to say, I know her best from Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. I always like to work in a Dutch rudder reference where I can. But anyway, Starla is another protagonist and / love interest, I guess, here. Michael Rooker plays Grant. This is yet another MCU tie-in. He plays Yandu Udanta in, I think he's in all 3 Guardians, even though he dies in the second one. I think there's like a flashback or a memory of him or something.
Third one? Yeah.
I think. But he's another actor that I love, and he is the main antagonist in this movie. Greg Henry plays Mayor Jack McCready. He's also an MCU tie-in. He plays Grandpa Quill in all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies. You see him at the beginning of the first one. He's running away from the blue blobs in the second one, right?
The splooge.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what it is, right? He's in the end of the third one where Peter goes back to see him. Here he's the mayor, and he's pretty damn funny. I like him in this. Jenna Fisher plays Shelby Cunningham. This is the police station receptionist. Everyone knows Jenna Fisher as Pam from The Office. The character of Shelby was originally cast as a man. There was an actor cast for it, but he backed out at the last minute. I guess he had booked the pilot, and James Gunn didn't want some guy, like, he didn't want to force this guy to be there who didn't really want to be there, right? So he let him off the hook. But then they got into union trouble because I guess it was filmed in Canada. And so they need a certain number of Canadian actors. And that guy was a Canadian actor, but Jenna Fisher is not. So there's a little trouble there. And I think he had to give some lines to some other people who just would have been extras basically in the background to smooth it out.
Did you know that they were married?
I did. That was one of the trivia questions. James Gunn and I'm going to call her Pam. Jenna Fisher were married for just a few years, but during the making of this movie, yeah. I think they're still very good friends still.
Yeah.
All right, you have passed one of the trivia questions already. And last on the list for the main cast is Brenda James as Brenda Gutierrez, or sometimes I think she's listed as Brenda Gutierrez, but they call her, I think they She's called Brenda Montgomery, but listed as Brenda Gutierrez or something like that, vice versa. So I from what I gather, she was born Brenda Montgomery, got married to somebody with the last name Gutierrez and changed her name. That's, kind of not super important to the movie, but she has the unfortunate honor of being the first host to give birth to, I guess, thousands of brain slugs. I don't know. There's a lot.
Yep.
I guess this kind of counts as a love interest for Grant.
I'd say he's more of a friend with benefits, and the benefit being surrogate for all those slugs.
Yes. Yikes. I don't know her from anything else, but she's another one who looks familiar. All right, let's get into the main discussion. The movie starts with a meteorite landing in the sleepy town of Wheelsey. It cracks open, revealing a beating organic mass. The meteorite opening of this reminds me of The Blob, the 1988 version of that. Did you ever see it? Yeah. It's the same thing. A meteorite crashes into Earth, and there's a little blob in it, right? And then I think I want to say homeless, an unhoused gentleman finds it, and it takes off from there. That's a good movie, actually.
The Blob? I love that movie too.
Yeah.
I also hate that movie because it's about slime and stuff, and I always cringe at my sink and the garbage disposal because I think about that scene where the blob.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Somebody into that.
Yeah. Does it like grab his face, right?
Yeah.
Like
just grabs all of him and then just Anyway,
that's a good movie. I gotta rewatch that at some point.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's an MCU tie-in.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. I thought it was actually more of an Evil Dead. It gave me more of an Evil Dead vibe right off the bat.
Why is that?
Because of the running, the fast running feel in the dark in the forest.
I could see that as being an homage even.
Yeah.
I don't think they mentioned that in the
just that first initial like sprint to the meteor.
Yeah.
Or not the meteor, sprint to the. I guess it was a canister, right? Because it was a canister that had the aliens.
You're confusing it with Night of the Creeps now.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I watched it back to back. You're right.
Yeah. So I don't know if the sprint part that you're talking about then, I don't know if that was in Night of the Creeps or this.
That was in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so then there's the opening credits showing like the town and the townsfolk. And there's already a bunch of horror movie references here that I'll get to later. But one that stood out to me that I could not find anything about was Angel's Tavern with two L's, ANGELL''S. Angel's Tavern. And it had like two Confederate flags hanging off of it. So it kind of caught my eye. I was like, that's an odd choice. But I couldn't find that it was a reference to anything.
Like it feels like it was put there on purpose, right?
Yeah. And so when I was looking into it, I did find where everything was actually filmed, and then I did like a Google Street View and checked it out, and it's like a restaurant. It's not at all. I don't think it's a restaurant. It was something totally different. It's not called Angel's Tavern. It doesn't look. There's no Confederate flags flying there. I mean, that would be a weird choice in Canada.
Not in Canada, right?
I mean, I'm sure there's a few in Canada, but
that's true.
Oh man. Anyways. Then the movie cuts to a classroom where Starla Grant is teaching a class on Darwinism.
I was going to ask.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to ask you if it's a science gripe, but is it possible for a meteor to crash so hard and not set everything on fire near it? Because nothing was on fire. It's just a big mound.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. And I'm a little shocked that I didn't think of that. I'm sorry I've let you down.
This is one of my science gripes that I was like, what I was curious about asking you.
I mean, even if that's the case, I think I would let it slide on this one.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, everything looked pretty lush and green. It's not like it was landing in Southern California where everything's, made of tinder.
Right.
All of California. So let's see. Oh, then the movie cuts to a classroom where Starla Grant is teaching a class on Darwinism. After school, she's picked up by her husband, Grant, and Police Chief Bill Party stares longingly at Starla as she gets in a car and is driven away by Grant. So in the classroom, pretty much all the boys are ogling her.
She's pretty.
Yeah. And I thought it was fitting that she was talking about survival of the fittest in that classroom lecture.
Yeah.
What do you think about Michael Rooker's look in this? I think he's
the nerdy accountant look that he had.
Okay, so that's a different take, but I see how that fits. I just he just looks like a jealous dickhead husband to me. He just I don't know something about it. His body posture and everything. He just looks like he knows everybody thinks his wife is hot and that he is not in the same league as her, and he's worried about it.
100%. Yeah. But he also knows that he's rich.
Yes,
right.
And
everybody knows that.
Which brings me to my next point when Bill Party is talking to one of his deputies.
Is this the what's a vagina?
Yes. He's talking about her. He's talking to his deputy who's a lesbian.
Starla's raising them shanties off St. Luke, dirt poor. All she ever wanted was to be a lady. Oh, Grant, he's always been made of green.
Oh, hell, Margaret. Starla's mother left her. Daddy's a drunk. She's 17 years old. Old Grant pulls up, big old Cadillac, house on the hill, and college tuition. What would you do? Hell, if you had a Johnny, you'd have married him, too.
What's a Johnny?
It's country. You know, where Chinese people come from.
Yeah, that made me crack up so hard.
That's like one of my favorite lines. That one always stuck with me.
Where the Chinese come from.
Oh, man. At the end of the day, Grant seems pretty horned up at bedtime, but Starla rejects his advances. So he storms off, telling Starla he's going to go out for a walk. So this scene is so gross. It seems kind of rapey to me. It's very unsettling. And in the commentaries, everyone says that they were very uncomfortable with this scene, and that was the intention.
Because of it's not like I have a switch, that scene?
Yes. Well, I mean, just kind of everything about it. Like, she's very clearly not wanting him on her at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he does the
sure switches. You do.
Yeah, that was a bit much. So then Grant goes to a bar to get drunk where he meets Brenda, who's DTF, it seems. And the pair drunkenly stumble through the woods together where Brenda throws herself at him.
How do they know each other? Was it her sister that he used to date?
He used to date her sister, I think, when they were in high school or something. So she throws herself at him, and Grant rejects her advances, saying that he can't because of Starla. Then they stumble upon whatever was in that meteorite, and it shoots an organism into Grant's chest, and then he wanders off, leaving Brenda alone in the woods. So I really liked the effect that they had. It's kind of like an X-ray, where after the little needle thing shoots into his chest, he kind of falls down on his side, and you can see through him, and you see the needle go through his chest and up and into his brain. I thought that was a cool effect.
Yeah. Serious question, though. If you found a meteor or something in the ground cracked open, and, it looked like an egg and something had come out of it, and would you really follow that trail?
Hell no, dude. I've seen enough
in the dark.
I've seen enough horror movies. There's no way.
That's what I mean. Granted, yeah. If
running
they
out
had,
there and calling the
no
CDC.
Movie.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of curious. And then there's also, I know that they don't present Brenda as like, a Nobel scientist or anything. But would you hook up with him?
Yeah, knowing the next day or whatever.
Something went into him.
Yeah.
Like she saw it, right? Like,
I don't know if she saw the thing go into him, because I think his back might have been to her, but still.
Oh, because I thought he turned around and then she saw the little thing.
I don't remember. It's possible, very possible. She seemed freaked out, and
yeah,
there's no way. But yeah, again, it wouldn't have led to a very cool movie otherwise.
Yes.
Oh, I like Rooker. His acting is pretty good with, pretending to be an alien in this new body, right?
Yeah.
And the whole idea of the alien now having Grant's memories is pretty interesting to me, especially the way that influences its behavior. Right. At one point in the commentary, Gunn says that the alien never took over a higher life form before. Higher life form isn't the right word for it, but that's what he said. Because I think even like animals are higher life forms. Right. But I think what he means is like
a conscious.
Yeah, I mean,
or a self-aware life form.
Yeah, I don't know what the right word is for it, but basically like human level intelligence with like emotions and stuff, right? Mm. So he says it's never taken over that kind of life form before. So there's all these thoughts and emotion that it's not used to.
Yeah,
and I think Rooker does a great job of portraying that.
Yeah.
Back at home, the Grant creature raids his fridge for all the meat, processed, raw, and otherwise. The next morning, he seems to be making a nest in the garage when Starla decides she's going to make it up to him for last night. And I want to make clear, I don't think she owes him anything. But for whatever reason, she decides that she's going to put a move on him now. She's got every woman in the world to me by, I think it's Air Supply.
Supply.
Yeah, playing on the hi-fi.
I love that song. That was one of my love. I loved hearing that over and over in this movie.
My sister won that record at school or something like that. That Air Supply album. So I listened to it a lot as a kid. I liked that album quite a bit. Yeah, and I think it's a good song. It's apparently Starla and Grant's song in this movie, and James Gunn says the song creeps him out. And that's why he picked it. Yeah, because I mean,
that's why he put it in.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get his argument for it, but he's just like, the idea of telling somebody that you're every woman in the world to me. He just thinks that's kind of like a psycho thing to say. But I don't know. I like it. It's a good song.
I never thought about it that way.
I still like it. We get more great acting by Rooker playing an alien in this man's body, confused and overwhelmed by the feelings of love and lust. He starts crying a little bit at one point, right?
Yeah, he does.
And then I'm not sure, but they did bang, right? Because it just kind of fades to black.
Yeah, because she talks about it in the next scene.
Yeah, that's right. And the other teacher calls her a slut or something like that, like just goofing off.
Yeah. Because she was also saying how it's like he is discovering my body and
yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that's because
it's because he was.
Yeah.
And how does she not remember this later on when she finds out that he's got something wrong with him, right?
Yeah.
I would be very worried.
I wonder if they were safe.
Maybe, could be. I guess if you try not to have
could
kids.
Be Slither too. I mean, I guess the ending already alludes to potentially a Slither too, if anybody ever wants.
So you saw the stinger?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you caught it or not.
I saw it this time. I didn't see it.
I don't know if I'd seen it before. Yeah. I was just I wonder if there's anything after the credits. I don't remember. And then
the same. Yeah, that was me too. I was like, I don't remember there being anything, but let me just wait.
Starla is off to school to teach. Grant hits the meat section at the local supermarket to buy a ridiculous amount of meat. And then later at home, Starla sees that he's padlocked the basement door. So I'm pretty sure it was a deleted scene, but there's supposedly a scene where Grant files the meat in a filing cabinet. Did you see that or no?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I think it was a deleted scene. I've definitely seen it before, and they talked about it a little bit in the commentary. I guess they thought that it was interesting, but he doesn't do anything like that the rest of the movie, and so they thought it was inconsistent, something like that.
The filing of putting the meat in the filing cabinet?
Yeah, sorting it by different types.
Oh. Interesting.
I think it's kind of a funny idea, but I mean, I agree. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he just has meat everywhere.
Yeah,
right.
The padlock door is a much bigger red flag than Starla picks up on, in my opinion.
But it's her birthday.
I know, but
2 months from then.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like if my wife padlocked I don't know, we don't have a basement. She padlocked some room in here. I don't know. I'd be real suspicious. So then it seems like Grant's getting hunger pains, and then it looks like he might eat the neighbor's dog. It wasn't really clear to me what happened there.
They did, because didn't she find it? Remember later?
But did he eat it? It was definitely dead animals in there, but I don't know if he had eaten them or what.
Yeah,
that was not clear to me. Then after that, Starla is in the shower, and Grant has to try to control his urges as these alien tentacles are coming out of his abdomen. I thought this was actually pretty decent CGI, especially for 2007. I mean, you can tell it's CGI, but it looked all right to me.
The tentacles?
Yeah. Then he runs off saying that he forgot something at work.
The scene coming up makes me cringe.
Yes, it's pretty great, but very cringy. Starla goes to a townwide party called Deer Cheer, which is a celebration kicking off the first day of deer hunting season, and pretty much everybody's there. I like it when Bill is talking to Starla outside.
Hey.
Hi.
Scared you?
Hey, Bill. What you doing?
Oh, nothing. Just I'm trying to get a buzz on, but I can't. I'm too buff. Got too much muscle mass. I don't know what it is.
Oh, really?
I find him to be uniquely charming. I like Nathan Fillion a lot.
He does it so well. It's like
Yeah.
it's pretty natural, like with him.
Yeah, totally. Meanwhile, Grant goes to see Brenda. This is intercut with the Deer Cheer celebration where Mayor Jack McCready is giving a speech where he does a countdown to midnight, which is the official start of deer hunting season. As the countdown reaches 0, the scene at Brenda's gets more and more disturbing, culminating with Grant attacking her and sticking his 2 chest wound tentacles into her abdomen. It is so unsettling.
Well, I mean, as soon as he took off his shirt, like all the tiny circles on his chest,
Yes.
totally triggered my like tryptophobia or something. Because
Oh yeah.
I definitely had to close my eyes a couple of times in rewatching it and stuff. Still,
Yeah, none of that bothers me, but yeah. I thought that was the wounds don't bother me. Is what I mean.
The tentacles.
The entire content of the scene was very unsettling. And then they keep cutting back to the countdown, and in a way, they're kind of counting down to him, like sticking these things into her abdomen.
Yeah.
And he basically lays a bunch of eggs in her and fertilizes them, I guess.
Yep.
It's pretty gnarly. Then, after the deer cheer party, Starla arrives home to find Grant's face is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
He says it was just a bee sting, and he resists her pleas to go to the hospital, claiming that he spoke to his doctor and that everything's okay. I, again, really appreciate Rooker's acting here, where he's like, don't look at me like that.
He's great in this movie, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought of him as a bad actor, but I never really appreciated his range and the like nuance that he can put into a performance.
Yeah.
The next day, Grant keeps busy gathering up meat and bringing it to feed Brenda, who's absolutely ravenous. Starla calls Grant's doctor, who informs her he hasn't seen Grant recently. Then Police Chief Bill Party and Officer Wally Whale stop by to question Grant about missing person Brenda Gutierrez, who Grant was seen with at the bar the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Starla is in serious denial about the situation, but after they leave, she decides to open up the locked door to the basement. So I had forgotten about what was actually in the basement. I kind of had a guess, but I wasn't sure. It's the dead missing pets.
Yep.
That also got me with a genuine jump scare too.
The dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one was earned. I think what were we talking about? Where I was like, I don't like jump scares. It might have been Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
But, yeah. I don't like jump scares when they don't work. When they don't work, and when they are like too frequent. Like jump scare the movie.
Right. Was it the shower scene in Shaun of the Dead?
No, you know what it was? It's when he runs into Yvonne on the street.
And
it's like it's just kind of like loud music, and it's like just jarring. Like that's a cheap jump scare. I don't like that. And so many like PG-13 horror movies are nothing but jump scares. That gets so old. This one was earned. I like this one. It worked. It was effective. A clearly rattled Starla leaves the basement only to find Grant in much worse shape than before, staring at her through the window. He enters the house and tries to impregnate her with his chest tentacles. Then Bill Party and some other officers show up and chase Grant off. So when she comes out of the basement and he's in the window, I'm like, oh shit. He's looking pretty bad there.
He looked because it wasn't his face like hella deformed by then.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's starting to get like the bigger smile on one side, and like, it's his entire head looks like it's blistering. It's a bad scene. She's got a great scream too. Her reaction is really, really good. She sees him.
Yeah.
And then I like it when he's got her in like a chokehold, and the police are already there. He's got her in a chokehold, and his arm just kind of becomes a tentacle.
Yeah.
And like it's all bendy. That was pretty cool. And then Bill's like, "What the fuck was that?"
All the cops crack me up.
Yeah,
they have like the best lines in this movie.
There's quite a bit of comedy in this.
Yeah,
to balance out the quite a bit of horror. But yeah, at that part, like I've seen this movie so many times, but it's still a great scene. Like it's not as shocking as the very first time I saw it, but it's really good, and it just escalates from there. And Grant runs off, and then it's 3 days later. At the police station, Mayor Jack McCready is up Bill Party's ass about finding Grant. Party gathers his officers around to discuss the recent pet and farm animal abductions that have occurred, likely attributable to Grant. From the pattern, they make an educated guess as to where he will strike next. So were you also kind of like, what have they been doing for the last 3 days?
I was at first, and then the mayor going, "He probably just had Lyme disease."
Yeah.
Cracked me up.
Yeah, I love that. I had that in my notes as well.
You don't know what was in there. You said it was dark. You don't know what the hell you saw.
His arm was all bendy, Mayor.
Well, it's obvious the bastard's got Lyme disease.
What?
Lyme disease. You touch some deer feces and then you eat a sandwich without washing your hands, you got your Lyme disease.
And that makes you look like a squid.
But yeah, what were they doing for 3 days? Just taking reports?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, so this is a problem for me. I didn't like this.
Mm-mm.
Wally, Wally Whale, I think his name is. He makes, I think it's a totally unnecessary joke about a farmer with a cleft palate.
A mare was stolen from this property owned by Fitzgibbon, that rancher with the cleft palate.
Yeah, I know that guy. He looks like a chipmunk.
Your mom weren't too proud when you came out neither, Wally.
Party shuts him up pretty quick.
Mhm.
But I do we need to be punching down here? Like, I have a real problem with making fun of like that kind of physical deformity. And they show that guy at the beginning too, in the opening credits.
Yeah.
Like when they're panning through the town, they show a guy there with like a massively cleft palate, but it's very clearly a bad prosthetic.
Mm.
Like, I don't know. That did not need to be in there. I guess this was still James Gunn's early days where not every choice was the best.
He was this around when he made those tweets that got him fired?
It might have been, actually. I'm not sure exactly when that was.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
But-
I don't know. I didn't think anything of it too much because Party like knocked him down a peg or two.
Right. And I just feel like
Corrected
there could have been a different joke made. I don't know. I didn't think
Yeah.
about it too hard. I really thought that the Bill Party line was funny.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it needed to be set up that way. So the police arm up to go looking for Grant. Starla wants to go along, saying she's the only chance to bring Grant back alive, which they need to do so that they can find out where Brenda is.
Mhm.
And Jack McCready tags along as well. They all go to the Stroopmeyers family farm where they expect Grant to strike next. And when he does, his transformation is much further along, we'll say. The whole scene doesn't go well, and the Grant thing ends up slithering off into the woods. So Grant is totally fucked up at this point when he shows up.
Yeah, he looked like a lean Jabba the Hutt.
That's exactly what I had. I said he looks like Jabba the Hutt, but fast.
Yeah.
And he's got like teeth and tentacles and some weird hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely has a Jabba the Hutt shape to him.
Like, I forget the old man that said it, the old deputy that said, like, looks like something that fell off my dick in the war.
Yeah.
Cracked me up.
There was something about that in the commentary. It was either like ad-libbed or the studio wanted that line cut or something. There was something about it. I don't remember. I should have made a note of that. Yeah. That was a pretty funny line. Let's see. Oh, Grant kills a cow and starts to drag it off, and Starla tries to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I think that here the effects, I don't know if all of it is practical, but a lot of it is practical, and it looks really good. It's imperfect, but it's definitely better than a full CGI creature.
Oh, not to rewind a little bit, but you know that scene when they were arming up, when they were getting all the guns?
Yeah.
Did you recognize the soundtrack that they were playing while they were arming up?
Was it Cherry Bomb?
No, it was the
I don't know, I'm
Predator
just trying to
soundtrack.
remember. Oh, is it the Predator soundtrack?
Yeah.
It's like literally a soundtrack.
Or the
Interesting.
it's
The score.
The score, yeah, where
Yeah.
they're hunting the Predator down.
Oh, interesting. I am gonna have to compare.
Yeah,
And-
I was like, is that really it? Because I had to actually look, because I was like, that sounds not from this movie. And then I actually looked it up, and yeah, it was the Predator sound. So a bunch of people were like, "Is that the Predator soundtrack in the background in Slither?" And
That's interesting.
totally
I have to
was.
look into that. And you better be right. This is a good gross out here when that stupid civilian gets involved and threatens Grant.
Yeah,
And then Grant whips him with a tentacle, like splits him down the middle, and all his guts spill out. That was pretty awesome.
you have to move hella fast. That's a hell of a whip.
It's like a whip, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I think the part that like so it doesn't cut him all the way through.
Yeah.
But like he gets like a little bit of a split in his face, and I think that part looked kind of CGI to me. But I think the gut spilling out was a practical effect.
Looked pretty good to me. Yeah.
It looked gross. I liked it. In pursuit of Grant, the team stumbles upon an old barn with a terrible smell coming out of it. Inside, they find Brenda, who is not having a good time. She is swollen into a sphere. Then she bursts open, and thousands of slugs pour out. And the slugs get into many of the people's mouths, incapacitating them. Bill Party, Starla, Mayor McCready, and a few others manage to keep their mouths closed and the slugs out. And the rest of the slugs spread out through the woods, presumably seeking other hosts. Wow. I mean, Brenda's situation is bad. like much worse than Violet Beauregard in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I love how she was like, something's wrong with me, and Nathan Fillion's face while he was like, yeah.
The beginning part of this scene, yeah, it's so great. She's like, I don't want no one seeing me like this. And Bill goes up to her, he's like, so what's going on here exactly?
Yeah.
It's like another great delivery by Nathan Fillion.
Like, so good. I like remember there was a line where he said something about taking her to the hospital, and then that other was it Wally that goes, what the fuck are they gonna do with her?
I think it was McCready. It definitely sounds like a Jack McCready line. But yeah.
One of them did it, said that. I was like cracking up because I was like, yeah, like what, how do you even like put her in a car?
Yeah,
Right?
There's no, we can't couldn't get her into an ambulance in that shape.
Yeah.
The slugs go into people's mouths and, eventually taking over them, which we'll get to. This is why people compare it to Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
Like that's how they get into it. It's not like that in Shivers. In Shivers, I think they are, maybe they do go into your mouth in Shivers.
I think that's why I really started hating slugs as a kid, because I saw Night of the Creeps, and then watching this and then watching them, because Night of the Creeps doesn't exactly have a scene where all the slugs just like cover your body, and then
no,
yeah,
there's not that many slugs in it. I think there's like a pile of slugs at one point, like near the end, right?
In the very end, because there's like I guess somebody's science experiment with brains or something's in the basement.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, but this one was when he was covering her mouth and then covering his mouth, and then they just got swarmed by the by the worms.
So then, like that swarm, I think is my one complaint. Like they're completely covered by these bad CGI slugs.
Yeah,
and even James Gunn in the commentary was just like, I think they just didn't have the budget to make it any better than that.
Yeah, but I wonder if why couldn't they have tried? We guess could they not have tried going in through their ear or their butthole? Actually, butthole makes sense. Butthole would be safer, wouldn't it? No, it'd be going into the digestive tract and acid that way.
Yeah.
I guess ear would have been the safest.
Yeah, but like your ear hole is not big enough, I don't think.
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe they can squeeze down really tight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Some of the slugs get into the bathroom at the Streetmeyer's family house.
Yeah.
One tries to get at a young woman named Kylie while she's taking a bath. The slug almost succeeds, and for a moment we see the collective memories of the alien creature through Kylie's eyes as it tries to take over her mind. But Kylie is able to rip the alien slug from her mouth and kill it with a hot curling iron.
That was a good scene.
This is a really good scene. There's a lot going on here. When the slug is in the tub, and I want to call it the over-the-shoulder point of view, but it's like, from directly behind it. But you see it like right in front of the camera, swimming through the water. That seems like a Nightmare on Elm Street homage, like with the claw going through.
The glove.
Right? Yeah. And there's a scene like this in Shivers, but it's like a totally different perspective. It's instead of like in the tub looking at Kylie's face, or the woman's face, because it's not Kylie in Shivers. Instead of in the tub looking at the person's face, it's like a top-down view. And you see it side to side. It's more like the picture behind me. And it's a much worse slug in that movie, but it's an older movie. I'll cut it some slack.
I liked how when it fell into the water, it made like the perfect dive sound.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that sounds like the perfect shaped poop that just kind of like
right. Splash a little water up on your sphincter.
Yeah.
I love the part though when Kylie's pulling the slug out of her mouth with
Her
the
fingernails.
press-on nails, yeah. And she does like the mind meld thing with it or whatever, and sees the collective memories of the alien hive mind.
Yeah.
It tells you so much about what's happening with this movie, and it's really important for later. You see like the dying alien planet. It looks like it was taking over some kind of rodent-like creatures that kind of looked like mole rats to me a little bit.
Yeah.
You get a glimpse of what the biomass of whatever these rodents were, where they're all just kind of stuck together, which is foreshadowing for later.
The tentacles.
Yep. And then she also sees what Grant saw. So I don't know. I just thought that was all really well done and comes in handy for later on. Unfortunately for Kylie, the other slugs successfully attack the rest of her family. She manages to escape by climbing out a window, jumping off the roof and making it to the family pickup truck, but she doesn't have the keys. And then alien slugs envelop the truck. The part where the truck is completely swarmed, I thought worked a lot better than the scene in the barn where Bill and Starla got covered up. And I think it's just shadows here. Like I don't think they actually show the slugs, right?
Nope.
Like, it's just kind of.
I actually have that in my notes as one of the coolest scenes is that she's like sitting there in horror as like all the slugs are covering up the light coming in through the windshield.
Yeah, it was like much more effective.
Yeah. And you can see their individual silhouettes too, like merging and then like blocking out the light.
I agree. Back at the barn, the people who were invaded by slugs start to regain consciousness, a collective consciousness. Grant speaks to Starla through Wally as well as through others, and the situation escalates when one of the others spits some green digestive juices on an uninfected officer. Then Starla shoots Wally, whose head splits open and the slug slithers away. It's hard for me to say slug slithers away. The actor who plays Wally is great. His name's Don Thompson.
Yeah. Has he been in a lot of stuff?
He has been. I should have written down. There was a few other things that I have seen him in, but didn't really recognize him from. He's worked, but the way that he's not really stuttering, but he's almost like choking on the words as he's saying them, like talking to Starla as Grant. Man, he nailed that. It was so good.
I should have planned. Marriage. It's the sake of bond. Just like you said.
What?
I'm sorry for trying to strangle you and all. I lost my head. I didn't mean to do none of them things I've done. But it's my nature, ain't it? How can you blame someone for acting according to his own nature? I wanted to tell you what was going on, but I was afraid you wouldn't love me no more. I never knew love, Starla.
Y'all better just sit back down. You need to get some rest. You're sick.
Me?
Hey! Let her go! Y'all just take a step back now, all right?
There you go, Sugar Plum. Why you choosing camps for you hear both sides of the story?
Why are you talking like Grant?
'Cause I am Grant. I'm your husband.
You swore to honor and obey me.
So put that goddamn gun down.
It gets even better when Grant is talking through multiple people, and then sometimes it's a few words from one person and then a few words from another, and sometimes they're talking at the same time, saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, however that was choreographed or orchestrated, but that's possibly my favorite scene in this movie, just because of the detail of that.
Yeah.
I got to try to pull a clip. I don't know if it'll work audio only if you're not seeing the people talking, but I'll give it a shot. In the commentary here, with the part where that one infected person like spits the green stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So James Gunn called that gleeking. Do you remember that? Did you ever?
As a kid. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Where you can like flick your tongue just right. And I think I never really knew how that worked, but I'm pretty sure like you squeeze your salivary gland and it shoots some spit out, basically.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never got around to figuring out how to do that.
I could get it to kind of work now and then, but not reliably. I haven't tried. I'm not gonna try it.
I think
now.
that was
I want to click on my
that was what I was
screen.
curious about. Did they just alter the physiology of the humans like right off the bat? Like,
Oh yeah,
because
I guess so.
Because that was some strong ass acid.
Well, also, where is I mean, that's a big slug.
Yeah.
So it's gotta like reside. But if it was still like kind of in their throat, they wouldn't be able to talk, right?
Yeah.
Science grape.
I'll let it pass too.
Yeah. So over at the Streetmeyer's property, Kylie's infected family wakes up. They want Kylie to come out of the truck. And on his way back to his vehicle, Bill Party goes past the farmhouse and rescues the young woman in the truck. This part continues to be really great.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
Oh, this was because it's the part where they all start meeting.
Yeah.
And then the scene where Starla kills that one deputy and like just stabs him with like a street sign.
Oh, yeah. She she was ape shit on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Then, the mayor goes, "Bitch is hardcore."
Yeah.
For some reason that made me crack up because everybody was like, "Holy shit!" Like they'd never seen her like that before or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess she is a little bit more demure up until that point.
Yeah.
But even before that, when Bill first gets to the farmhouse and Kylie's in the truck, or sorry, even before Bill shows up, Kylie's in the truck and her family comes out of the house and her mom's like, she's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And she's like, "It's family fun day." And then Bill shows up to rescue her and he sees the dad and he's all fucked up. He's got like all these open wounds on his arms and face.
Yeah.
Like the whole family's in bad shape.
Hey! What's going on? How you doing? Hey, easy. What the hell happened to you, Otis?
Poison ivy out back, maybe?
We're itchy.
Immediately the twin girls are like, "We're itchy." I thought that was the funniest part of this whole movie. It's just great the way it was delivered. Oh man. Bill and Kylie get to the police car just as Starla and Jack get there too. The four of them drive off. Bill radios Shelby at the station and tells her to get the CDC down there, and Shelby's taken over by a brain slug before she can make the call. Then in the car, Kylie tells them about the vision she had when a slug tried to infect her, and she tells the group that the alien goes from planet to planet, taking over, consuming everything until it's all gone. When Bill's talking to Shelby on the radio before she's taken over by the brain slug.
All right, listen, I need you to get the CDC on the horn for me, okay? Shelby, are you nodding?
Yeah, sorry. I'll get you right back.
Yeah. She was nodding.
Yeah. After Kylie expounds about the nature of the alien, Starla says, "It's a conscious disease."
His real face looks like a needle, but he's always got another. He goes from place to place, worlds, planets, killing them. Some he gets pregnant, others he just takes over with his worms, and the rest he eats till they're gone. Now he's here.
Are you seeing these worms? These worms in their brain, you're saying they're all connected? It's like they're all one deal?
An animal that doesn't procreate. It spreads, grows, absorbing the minds and bodies of the organisms around it. It's a conscious disease.
And at first, I was like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. In the commentary, James Gunn even said, he's like, "I'm not sure about that line," right? But then that was in the new commentary, which I listened to first, and then I was listening to the old commentary, and they actually explained it in that one. So I don't know. He must not have remembered.
Yeah.
So I had been interpreting what she said as a disease that is spread by consciousness or something, but that doesn't make any sense, right? But what she meant was that the disease itself is conscious, right?
Right.
That makes more sense.
Because it's Grant's consciousness.
Yeah.
Or the Grant thing.
Yeah. So apparently they had changed it on set, and the line was supposed to be something like, "It's a living disease," but then Elizabeth Banks must have foreseen that I would have said science gripe, Because she pointed out that, diseases are living already, like
Right.
bacteria and, prions aren't, but that's just like mad cow disease. For the most part, she's correct. So I think that she should have just said something about it being a hive mind or something. That's a good catch-all.
Okay.
It was just a weird line to me. And then it was interesting that they commented about it in the commentary. On the way to the station, the gang gets T-boned by an SUV, and the infected takes Starla. Bill is able to save Kylie, but Jack is unconscious, and so Bill and Kylie run off. I would have been a gripe that Starla and Jack don't get infected here, but eventually it all makes sense, especially when you listen to the commentary. But even without it, I think you can get it. There's apparently different roles for the people. Essentially, you have like feeders, breeders, and bodies, basically. So they have the people who get infected by the brains, infected by the worms. They will either go gather meat, right?
Yeah.
/ food, or as we find out later, they will become part of the biomass, right? And just become like this huge part of this huge body. And then you have other people who I don't believe are infected by a slug. They're just impregnated with the slug eggs.
Yeah.
And
Are these the non-gleekers?
Yeah, these are the wombs. Bill's plan is to get a confiscated grenade from the station and blow up the Grant monster, thereby destroying all the brain slugs, which I have several potential issues with Bill's plan. One, I would not assume that grenade would be working.
Right.
They don't even know how like the guy they got it from got it. Number two, I don't know if I'd count on all the brain slugs dying or whatever just because they kill Grant. Like, I think that's a bit of a leap. I'm sure Kylie's story is a little bit influencing his train of thought there, but I don't know if I would have made that jump.
It's the Avengers 1 plot before knowing that.
Oh, right.
Before knowing that it would actually work.
Yeah, if you destroyed the mothership, all the Chitauri die.
Yep.
In the police station, Bill gets attacked by an infected deer, and Kylie saves him. They take the grenade from the storage and head to the Grant household. What did you think about the deer attack scene?
I didn't like it, actually.
Not good.
I didn't really see it coming because I was like, oh, look, I guess they eat animals too. Because when they swarmed that deer earlier on, but then having that deer follow him and then attack him in the police station was kind of like, I didn't really like this.
It was a bad deer puppet.
Yeah.
And, it seemed like it was something out of Evil Dead, which is a fine movie, but it doesn't belong here. It was too goofy.
Right.
Even James Gunn said it was a bad puppet. Apparently it was a much longer scene.
Oh,
and they had a different puppet, I think, at first.
Yeah.
That didn't work. And then they tried to do it CGI, and then they had to go with this like mangled looking thing, and they cut it way down.
Oh, good.
Fortunately. They should have cut it all the way out.
Yeah. I could have definitely done without it.
It also, I think it then raises the question, why aren't there way more infected animals? Like, why just this one? And the alien had only infected more animal-like things, right? Before, according to Kylie. So, like, why wouldn't it do that here too? And the only thing I can think of is that the main one is in Grant, and maybe he's got like a taste for the human mind now. Like, he wants more humans.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe that explains it.
But humans are also bigger, I guess.
That's true. Yeah.
Easier. And you could do more stuff on the planet with them.
Yeah. Opposable thumbs and all that.
Yep.
Another potential problem for me was, how did they know to go to Grant's house? I mean, I think it's a reasonable guess, and maybe that's all it is, but I thought maybe I overlooked something.
Party and Kylie.
Yeah.
I think they just assumed that was where.
Oh, maybe Kylie knew where he was because of that.
Because of the connection.
Mind meld. Yeah. Like,
wait, actually, weren't they following random people? I thought they were.
Maybe that was
somebody.
It.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Yeah.
Because remember they were like hiding behind something, and then they saw that big dude take off his robe and then just merge.
Well, yeah, but that was after they got to Grant's house.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Right. So I'm like, how do they know to go there? I mean, I probably just forgot something, or it kind of makes sense to me. I guess if Kylie got some of his memories. She probably knows that that's where he is at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes sense. So the infected get an unconscious Starla all prettied up and put back in her bed at the Grant household. She wakes up and grabs a mirror with a very pointy handle from the bathroom. She hides it under her nightgown and creeps out of the room. That mirror handle is sharp as fuck. In the commentary, James Gunn said that they had to sharpen it.
Really?
Even to sell the illusion, I guess. And like, if you look closely, I took a picture, put it in the notes here. Took a screenshot. Like, if you don't even have to look that closely. Yeah, and you can tell that it's been sharpened.
Yeah.
Let's see what I was gonna say. Oh, every woman in the world is playing on the home hi-fi again.
Right.
Which it's especially good here because of what is going on. It is just crazy. Jack McCready wakes up in Grant's basement, surrounded by the infected. He tries to escape, but Grant hits him with his tentacles, then puts him back in the basement, where Jack finds himself so incredibly hungry that he starts to eat the arm of a dead person.
Right. Well, he was wasn't he being a dick to or he was being very judgmental to the lady in the basement with him.
Yes. But, having a 1,000 fertilized eggs put in you, I guess will change your mind.
Yep.
Just as Bill arrives, Starla finds Grant, who is now grown into a giant mass filling the room. And his situation is pretty out of control at this point.
Yes.
As we alluded to before, there's other bodies incorporated into the mass. They're all yelling at Starla, "You said for better or worse, you lied." And then there's the part where this guy comes over and just like takes his robe off or whatever and just gets incorporated into the mass. It's so gross, man. I don't know how they did that, because he just goes and kind of leans on it, and then like as he pulls back a little bit, you can see his skin is already
like melting into it or something.
Yeah, it's like it's already part of it. It's not just stuck to it.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was well done. Oh, and then at that part, Bill sees it. He's like,
"Well, now that is some fucked up shit."
Yeah. Because it was.
Yes. This reminded me of, I don't know if this was an actual nod to Society. Did you ever see that movie? It's an old 80s horror movie, like body horror. There's something like that going on. Yeah, I don't know if that was actually intended or not. Starla tries to appeal to whatever is left of Grant's humanity in an attempt to get close enough to strike. She stabs Grant with the pointed mirror handle, but he just knocks her away. Bill Party pulls the pin on the grenade, but Grant knocks that away too before he can throw it. And then scrambling to find the grenade, Party gets knocked through a window, and ultimately the grenade ends up in the pool where it explodes, harming no one.
Right.
It's a really good moment when Starla's talking to Grant as normally as she can, to like this absolutely monstrous, hideous creature trying to get close.
I thought that Kylie died when the sofa knocked her back.
She's kind of out of the movie for a bit at this point,
for a good
right?
chunk of it, yeah.
Yeah, until the end, basically. And I like it when Party comes in and he sees Jack McCready, who's starting to look pretty messed up, and Jack begs Party to kill him. And he just shoots him without hesitating.
Yep.
That was pretty great. And I love the subversion of expectations with the grenade. Like that's how they're going to solve this. They're going to hit him with the grenade. But no, doesn't happen. You knew the grenade was important when they talked about it earlier on.
Yeah. Well, when you saw it, even when you first saw it, like sitting on the shelf and they leave it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's Chekhov's grenade. Like they better use it, and they did, but not how you were expecting.
Yeah.
So in the commotion, a propane tank got knocked loose from an outdoor grill. Grant uses his special tentacles to try to impregnate Bill, but he only gets one in. The other one, Bill manages to jam into the propane tank, filling Grant with the flammable gas. Bill tells Starla to shoot Grant, which causes him to explode. Now, I thought I was going to have a stoichiometry gripe here, to get very specific.
A what gripe?
Stoichiometry. It's a chemistry term.
Oh, okay.
In my mind, I was like, oh, he's going to like just explode, right?
Right.
That wouldn't have made any sense, because when you have an explosion, you need to have the right ratio of the oxidant to the fuel, right? And so Grant is not filled with air or oxygen. So when he pumps the propane in, he's just filled with propane. And actually, if you look, when Starla shoots him, he's just kind of burning up quickly around the outside. And then like at the very end, it kind of explodes. And that all makes sense. Like if you filled a balloon up with propane and lit it and filmed it at high speed, it would do something very much like that.
Oh.
So I appreciated that. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I appreciated the way that he blew up. Maybe they did do that practically. Maybe they really did fill something with propane and actually burned it.
Set on fire.
Yeah, and then that would explain why it looked like that. Didn't occur to me until just now that maybe they actually did it.
Did you see Sean Gunn in the bodies?
That's what I thought. I could have sworn it was Sean Gunn.
But that was not him?
I did not find anything that said it was or was not him. But
it looks so much like him.
It was him. It looks exactly like him, right? Like with a little bit of stubble.
Yeah.
It had to have been, but I didn't find anything to confirm nor deny that. But I'm glad it wasn't just me because I took it out of my notes. I was like, I guess it wasn't him.
Oh yeah, I was like, that has to have been him. I didn't confirm it. I didn't do the research to confirm it, but that's
all right. I think we're breaking the news now.
Okay.
Nobody else has ever picked up on this before. So Kylie, knowing what Grant knew, tells Bill that he's going to be okay. Both of the tentacles needed to have been in him for him to get all woomy, quote unquote. And that's pretty much it. They start walking into a hospital down the road and credits roll.
Is everybody dead?
I think so. Right. I kind of thought that they would be okay after that. Like the brain slugs would die. But I mean, I guess if you have a huge slug in your brain,
you're kind of dead, right?
Yeah.
So that means Kylie's whole family's dead.
I think so. Yeah.
The town's basically dead.
Yep. That was my understanding.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I feel like when I first watched it, I just assumed everybody ends up waking up at some point. But when I watched it this time, I was like, these last few times, I was like, oh, I guess.
Even watching it, I mean, it had been a few years, but when I watched it the first time for this, I had forgotten that everybody's just basically dead. I kind of expected them to wake up and be okay.
Yeah.
Which I think everybody being dead is really the better ending.
Right.
When Bill pulls the one tentacle out, right, out of his stomach, the one that got in, like that's alien jizz that leaks out, right?
That's what I was thinking.
It's disgusting. I would never feel clean again. Oh, it was like in his abdomen.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like he has either eggs or like a bunch of splooge inside of him.
Yeah. Either way,
right?
It's not good.
And like, where is it? What organ was pierced to?
You got to get that cleaned out.
Yeah. Because he was walking around with it still leaking.
Yeah. Oh, it's so gross. James Gunn said that the original ending in the script was that Bill Party was infected. And down the road a bit, he calls Starla Sugar Plum, like Grant would, and then she has to kill him. That doesn't make sense, though, because he would have had to have like a brain slug.
Right.
Not have been infected. So I don't know if that's why they changed it or what.
That just means wouldn't Grant also have had to survive somehow?
Then we get to the stinger,
right?
Right? Well, so I guess this. Okay, now I might have a problem with the stinger because all right, let's talk about the stinger. A cat comes along and is looking at some brains, and the little needle alien sticks out of the brains and starts wiggling, and then it cuts to black as you hear the cat do the meow scream thing. So you have to assume that the cat has now been infected by this needle thing. So if that means that the alien isn't dead, so why were all the slugs dead?
Is it just one alien though, or is it like another alien?
I assume
because that little thingy
needle
was from the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that is the needle, or that is the alien that was controlling everything. So it's not really dead. So why did all the people who were infected by the slugs all fall over and die? And they kind of ruined the movie with this stinger now.
Right.
I hadn't thought about that before. So I guess that's a proposed change for me.
Yes.
Cut that stinger. Other proposed changes I have is drop the cleft palate stuff. It's punching down and it wasn't funny. And it's pretty insensitive. I don't think that even played well back in 2006 or 2007, whenever this was. I would also cut the infected deer scene. We talked about that.
Yep.
It's a terrible puppet. Raises the question of why more animals weren't infected. And I wish Starla grabbed something other than that sharpened mirror. I mean, I know it didn't work regardless, but it was there wasn't like a nail file or a sharp pencil or a pair of scissors in the bathroom or something. That would have made more sense to me. What about you? Did you have proposed changes?
No, all of those are on my list. Except I don't know. I'm still not really that satisfied with the ending.
Hmm.
Because I don't because like the beginning was just so great. Like the first half was just awesome. And I guess it's hard to kind of tie all that out and to end it in a good like like the ending of Aliens. It looked like they were free and then they weren't,
Right.
and then
Right.
she just jumps into the mecha loader thing,
Yeah.
and then just
Fights the
wails
queen.
on the alien, and then you know what I mean, like and then like when that ends, you're like, yeah, that was a badass ending.
So you
Like,
wanted a little more fight, basically.
I wanted more of a fight, and I wanted like I guess I wanted a fight that didn't seem like, oh, we just got really lucky just now, and like
Yeah.
staving
Yeah.
off this invasion, which I guess they didn't because the cat.
Right.
But
with the exception of the stinger, I thought the ending was fine.
Yeah.
I just, man, once the movie gets going, it's going.
Right.
And I don't know. I thought it was really good. I don't have too much of a complaint about the end.
Yeah, it just felt like it eased off the gas a little bit towards the end for me.
Well, I also find that most movies, like somebody has like 2/3 of a good idea.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to write that last part.
Right.
And so it almost always is disappointing. So I thought that this was acceptable, more than acceptable.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about top scenes?
Sure. You want to go first?
I don't care.
Go first.
Yeah. All right. Grant's arm going rubbery when he's got her in the chokehold. Kylie having the alien memories. And when Grant starts talking through multiple people, that whole part there, when he's talking through multiple people, all the way up to the part where Bill Party's at the barn and the twins are like, we're itchy. Like that whole part is great. And it's not really a scene, but I like that the grenade doesn't work out. And that's the real payoff for the grenade.
Yeah, I was a big fan of when Grant first hooks up with Brenda. As much as I hated that scene,
I really
it's
so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No,
I think it's because
so
it's so
effective.
uncomfortable that I like it so much.
No, I agree.
The witty, the banter. I really like McCready's lines because he's such an asshole. But McCready and the deputies, all their interactions are funny as hell to me. There's one line that stands out where he's like, "You still don't deserve this shit just because you're a lesbo."
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. But like he just says that kind of shit, and it's funny as hell the way that it gets delivered. But like all those scenes that I think just Nathan Fillion in general in this movie was hilarious because he has that like bumbling. It's not quite what's the name of that bumbling detective? It's not quite Columbo-ish. Yeah. It's kind of Columbo-ish, but then it's more like a clueless deputy type of thing where he's just funny, like the way he reacts to stuff. And then like when he first sees Brenda and he's like, yeah. And she was like,
what exactly is going on here?
Yeah. And she's like, something's wrong with me. And he's just like, yeah. But like, it's kind of crazy to me. Like nobody freaks out, especially like you see Brenda and she's the size of a room basically, and nobody freaks out. That kind of stuff kind of bugged me, but still, it was the way
They're trained
that
professionals.
Huh?
They're trained professionals.
Yes. But yeah, the cops, I like the deputies and Nathan Fillion are just, they crack me up. Nathan Fillion and
you know his last name is Fillion, right?
Oh, Fillion. Oh,
yeah, Fillion.
Whoops.
There's another I in there. Fillion.
Whoops. Him, Michael Rooker, and McCready were like the three best actors for me in this movie.
Rotten Tomatoes has it at 87% with the critics, with an average score of 6.9 out of 10. It seems a little low, and the audience is only 63% with an average score of 3.4 out of 5. So, like I looked at some of the reviews. Some people were bothered by like there was like animals being killed. I'm like, yeah, obviously
it's a movie.
I was like, it's a movie. In real life, animals being killed sucks.
Right.
Right.
Wait a couple years. Aliens versus Predator. A little kid gets a face hugger on him.
Yeah. So, anyways, so that was some of the complaints I saw, and other ones were like, it's too gross. Like, all right, well, whatever. Anyways,
That should be why they give it a really high rating, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, or stop going to horror movies if you don't like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like,
so, I don't know.
That's why I like this, because I hate that kind of thing, but I'm liking it because it disturbs me so much.
I get a reaction out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Slither puts the move in movie. It's a breezy 96 minutes that's entertaining all the way through. Never waste my time, which I greatly appreciate. There's some great gross outs, but it doesn't rely on just being gross or shocking. And there's great acting across the board. I have very few complaints. I think it's a solid movie and it holds up.
Yeah.
I feel like it left me wanting more, but I think that's better. I guess that's kind of what you were saying about the ending too, but I think that's better than overstaying its welcome.
Yeah. It's definitely not a movie that you walk out going, there goes 2 hours, I'll never get back.
Yes, totally. Oh, man, I've done that before.
Yes. Yeah, man, I watched.
Do you have any summary you want to give, or do you just want to dive into an actual score?
I feel like I've said everything.
My rating on this is 9 out of 10 outer space fuckers, which we kind of skipped over the part. That was one of McCready's lines where Bill tells him that Martians is from Mars.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
It's goddamn Martian.
Martians is from Mars, Jack.
Or it's a general term meaning outer space fucker.
No, it isn't. Look it up.
But I couldn't decide if this is like a high B plus or a low A minus. So I'm saying 9 out of 10, not 9.0, just 9, which is important if you understand significant digits. 9 out of 10 outer space fuckers for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I for me, I feel like it's an 8.5 out of 10.
That's fair. Fuckers. I wouldn't argue with you.
It's pretty close. It's really close.
Well, if you understand what significant digits are, that is the same score basically as I gave it.
That's true. If you round up.
So it's an absolute recommend for me.
Same here. Especially if you like slugs and snails and anything that slithers and potentially goes into your orifices.
Or apparently even if you don't.
Right.
Okay, so I have the Slither trivia quiz for you now.
All right.
You've already picked up on some of these, so I think you're probably going to do pretty well on this.
Oh, no. Let's see which ones.
Okay, in one of the commentaries, James Gunn said, every character in Street is named for some horror movie icon or character or director, etc. So that's what most of this is from.
Uh-oh.
So more or less in order of appearance in the movie, here's the various trivia Easter eggs, and I want you to guess the connection.
Okay.
In the opening credits, we see R.J. McCready Auctioneer Funeral Home. Do you know what that is a reference to?
No.
I'll give you a hint. It's the R.J. McCready part.
I'm blanking.
It's Kurt Russell in The Thing is R.J. McCready.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I totally forgot his name in that. Yeah.
Fun fact, Mayor Jack McCready is named for 2 Kurt Russell characters. What's the other one? One of them's the Kurt Russell character. Do you know what the other one is?
No.
The Jack part?
Jack. Oh, not Snake Plissken, is it?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's not Jack. No, I don't know.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh.
Jack Burton.
Jack Burton.
Pork Chop Express.
Yeah.
It's like I told my last wife.
That's another great movie.
Yeah. I talked about that one on Games My Mom Found. That was a fun episode. So another fun fact, one of my best friends from growing up, he wrote a zombie movie screenplay like in the late 90s, and the main character was called Jack McCready for the same reasons.
Oh, nice.
I don't think anything ever came of that. He would have told me, but I remember reading it. Like he gave a copy of me. He gave me a copy to read, and I remember reading that. So he potentially thought of that before James Gunn did. Anyways, back to the quiz. In the opening credits, we have Max Renz. That's spelled RENN''S. Max Renz, Guns and Ammo. This one's not easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I know the. I'm less familiar with this trivia, I think.
Do you know the movie Videodrome?
No.
Okay, that was James Woods' character in Videodrome.
Oh.
I think that's another Cronenberg movie. I've watched it a lot as a kid because it was like on TV, but I don't think it's that good.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you where in Slither this one's from, but I found it in a trivia section. Meg Penny, and I looked again. I still couldn't find it. It's called Meg Penny's Diner. Penny apostrophe. Sorry, Penny apostrophe S. Meg Penny's Diner.
Yeah, I don't remember them even being in a diner. Was that the diner that Brenda was? No, Brenda was working at a bar, right?
Yeah, I could not find the diner. But what's the Meg Penny? Who's that a reference to?
That one I don't know either.
Meg Penny is Shawnee Smith's character in The Blob.
Oh, I am totally blanking on people's names on everything.
This is not easy, but
yeah.
I like having a little quiz thing at the end. So in the school scene, there's another teacher named Hank who's talking to Starla outside after school.
It's James Gunn.
It's a cameo by James Gunn. I figured you'd get that one. I was surprised you didn't bring it up in the notes, actually.
I was going to, and then I was like, oh wait, we passed the moment, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll revisit it in the end.
Well, it worked out in your favor.
Yeah.
All right, 1 million nerd credit points if you know what the high school is named after.
Oh shit!
The name of the high school is Earl Bassett High.
Oh man, it's not Angela Bassett related, so I don't know.
No, it is not. It's Fred Ward's character in Tremors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Earl Bassett. Yeah, I would have never thought. Most of these I wouldn't have known.
That's the Family Ties guy.
Yeah. Fred Ward isn't the. That's. Oh man, now it's gonna bother me. That guy's name.
That was Bert. Never mind. You're right.
Yeah.
Bert was the guy's name.
What is his name?
I don't know. I'm blanking now too.
Maybe if I'm feeling saucy, I'll edit it in.
Kevin
later.
Bacon?
No, Kevin Bacon's in it, but that's not his character. The guy from Family Ties, Michael Gross, is the guy from Family Ties. I'll be able to sleep tonight. Great. At the deer cheer scene, it takes place at Henelotter's Saddle Lodge. HENELOTTER apostrophe S. Henelotter's Saddle Lodge, and it's named for what director? Or a movie that director made. I guess you know his last name is Henelotter.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know.
It's Frank Henelotter, and one of the movies he did is Basket Case.
Never heard of that one either.
Oh, really? You've never seen that? It's like the guy who's got he's got like a brother who's just like this little. It's basically like a head and hands that lives in a basket.
Yeah,
and it gets out, and I think it gets out and like kills women or something. I forget exactly what happens. I saw it once a long time ago. It's weird. When Grant goes to see Brenda at her house, what movie is she watching on TV, and what is the significance of it?
Is it The Toxic Avenger?
It is The Toxic Avenger.
Because James Gunn worked with Troma.
That is correct. James Gunn. Lloyd Kaufman is the name of the guy who did, who's the Troma guy that I couldn't think of before.
Wait, how old is James Gunn? Because Toxic Avenger was when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably in 8th grade, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. James Gunn. I think James Gunn's he's a good 10 years older than us. I think.
Oh wow.
I think he might be in his early 60s even. I'm not sure.
Wow.
I'll Google it real quick. We got time for that. James Gunn. He is 58. So.
Oh, he's not that. He's about 10 years.
9 years older.
Yeah.
Okay. The part where Grant says it's just a bee sting, right? And then Starla calls the doctor to talk to him about it. And the doctor says he hasn't talked to Grant. Who plays the voice of Grant's doctor that Starla calls?
I don't know. Who was it?
Dr. Carl is played by Rob Zombie.
Oh, shit. Nice.
And supposedly, I think James Gunn said this in the commentary. He says that Rob Zombie does a voice in every movie that James Gunn does. That is not what I found. I couldn't find anything that held up that statement.
Wait, James Gunn said that?
Yeah. He plays the voice of God in the movie Super with Rainn Wilson.
Yeah.
And then he's like some off-screen Ravager in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I couldn't find any kind of credit. It could be uncredited in the other movies, but I couldn't find anything else that he did that was a James Gunn movie. So the 3 days later part where they are in the police station, there's a cameo by what director and former James Gunn collaborator in the police station? He's just sitting there in one of the chairs, like he's waiting to talk to a cop. But apparently he's a drunk, quote unquote, a drunk man. But I didn't really get that from the scene.
I don't think I even remember noticing him. Who was it?
Just told you the answer before, too.
Shit.
Troma Films co-founder.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. I mean,
Lloyd Kaufman.
Huh.
And then, let's see, I only got 2 more here. Infinity nerd credit points if you know this one. Bill Party mentions Castevet's Ranch, where the pets were mutilated, and he's like at the map talking about the
Right.
pattern that Grant's attacks have made.
Right.
What is Castevet's Ranch a reference to?
I don't know. In Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy came out after this movie.
Oh no, I don't know.
Rosemary's Baby.
Oh,
Her satanic neighbors are Minnie and Roman Castevets. Now, I did not know that one either, but I saw that movie once a long time ago. All right, last question. Are you going to get this one?
I feel like
Jenna Fisher.
I got like one out of all of what 10 so far.
You had a couple. I didn't expect you to get many of them. It was a hard quiz. Jenna Fisher, who plays Shelby in this movie, was married to a certain someone at the time this movie was made.
Yeah, James Gunn.
Yeah. The next one for season 2, you have kind of a quiz for me. I'm supposed to. So
Yeah.
You're going to give some hints.
Actually, I'm curious if you can guess this one.
All right.
It's a movie that explores what would happen if we could access all of our potential brain power.
Oh my God. I don't remember the name of it, but it's it's a Luc Besson film, right?
I was gonna say like the next hint is Luc Besson.
Yeah. And it stars Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman, I think.
Yeah.
And it what is the name of it?
I love.
Oh, of course. All right, I'm gonna bleep out my answer though, just in case, because people should be able to guess that one or look it up. But okay, interesting choice. I will have a lot of complaints.
Oh, I know. I've chose it because I know because it's terrible.
Yeah.
And...
I wonder if there's other MCU tie-ins besides Scarlett Johansson. I'll have to look into that.
I don't know. It's weird because there's a lot of like French folks and like. There's not that many. I think outside of Scarlett Johansson, I don't really recognize too many, and Morgan Freeman, I don't recognize anybody.
All right, interesting choice. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I think I only saw it once, which I thought would have been enough, but we will see. Yes. Man, I'm gonna have to listen to it with like director commentary and everything.
Well, see, I think that's why I sort of did it because it's supposed to explore what you could do when you could access more than 10% of your brain,
which is just some bullshit,
right?
Anyway.
So I knew that was going to trigger you as much as it triggered me.
Yes. All right. Well, okay. Well done, sir. So that's next for series 2. I don't know when we're going to get to that. We hadn't actually scheduled it.
Yep.
I think our primary focus is still going to be the regular MCU ranking. But I'm hopefully maybe we can do it sometime in November, if not December. I'll try to find a place to slot that in.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to Endgame, man.
I know. Well, next should be for the next episode should be Captain Marvel MCU ranking, and then after that Endgame. I guess that's it for this episode. That's it for Slither. If you want to contact us, you can email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes, and we have links there to our socials, as well as a couple ways you can help support the show. Please leave us a review and help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell a meat lover, and tell a brain slug. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.
Bye.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidiary of Corporation Johnny. Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.